Mazi Nnamdi Kanu reveals anyone who supports one Nigeria is ignorant of his ancestral existence. The leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, has made a bold claim in a radio broadcast on the 23rd of February. He said bluntly that anyone who still supports the One Nigeria initiative must be actually ignorant of his existence. He claimed that it's logical to reason that a nation should actually be older than its president. The nation should have an identity of a common value system. Can't preach. Hallelujah. Preach. Preach. And then he continues and says he questioned all those who claimed a nationality of being Nigeria. That is very, very true. Mazi said if Nigeria started existing in the year 1960, what happens to your ancestors who lived before Nigeria? Facts. He came out clear that the Biafran had existed long before Britain. Oduduwa and the Abe Hausa had existed before 1960 and before amalgamation, so also other ethnic groups in the country. He asked if it was possible for a black man to go to Britain and change its identity to Oduduwa or Biafra. He claimed that Africa is aback due to its agreement to subjection to the Western colonial masters. He said for Africa to be free and have an impact to their existence, they need to return back to their true identity, not the man-made colonial identity. Very, very true. And it's just so insulting. And I personally find this very insulting. How can a white man come to Africa, colonize, draw lines, they literally draw lines, make a whole new map and say this is this country? Because again, us being Nigeria is not, as Nigerians, we're not Nigerian. Like, it's not our identity. We were named. Y'all need to go and understand the origin of the word Nigeria. I personally believe it is the most insulting term ever. No matter how much, okay, fine, we've rebranded, the whole Nigeria. We don't really look at what it means and how our roots are defined from that name, and how it's just like as if from 1960 we started a new journey, and then whatever happened before that is just forgotten, which doesn't make sense. That's why IPOB has come out strong to enlighten the black nation in their true identity and the need to go back to their roots. That is very, very true, because when you don't know your identity, then you fall for anything, because you don't know where you stand, and then you're most upset or vulnerable. You're vulnerable to adopting different ideas because you don't have any strong, consistent, refined ideologies of your own, and then that inferiority complex just comes from you accepting anything and everything because you're not rooted in your identity. And it's very, very true. Very, 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 very true. So yeah, if you're agitating for one Nigeria, you have to give a reason why. We are too divided, and it's bad. It's very, very bad. And so that's the thing. The nation, as he said, should have an identity of a common value system. Very, very true. Because with a lot of countries, and how it works is that your nationality is your ethnicity. You speak one language, and what happens is in different parts of that country, there are different versions of that same language. But the thing is, in terms of the identity of being one thing, it's not shaken. The only when it comes to division is when we talk about class, you talk about income, you talk about all these things. But then your identity as whether you're an indigene of that country or not, like, that's not a question at all, because they've passed that point and they already know what their identity is. It's not up to them how they want to refine it, because it's theirs. They're not violating any other tribe that thinks differently. They're not violating that. And so when they want to make changes, it's more changes to their own culture, and it's one thing. Of course, there's going to be conflicts of interest and so many other things. But then when you have people with different identities, different roots, different histories, they come together, not of their own accord, and then you want to change things. One wants to be the ruler of what, like, it doesn't make sense. And we don't have a common value system, and that is a huge problem. It is huge. And it shows in power. It shows because, again, we're not Nigeria is a trade deal. Nigeria was made to cash out. Nigeria was made to cash out, and that's just it. And so the belief of one Nigeria, personally, for me, if there's gonna be one Nigeria, first of all, the name has to change because uh-uh no, 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 no. If I'm like okay, a Nigerian, like I'm going with my tribe. Like I'm not. Obviously, my passport says Nigerian, and of course, with the laws of how things work, traveling, identity, all that. Yes, you have to be Nigerian because you have a passport and all that. But apart from that, like, what does being Nigerian mean? Because depending on where you grow up, being Nigerian might just be you familiar with the southern part of Nigeria and its cultures, or it might be you're from the northern part of Nigeria and your cultures and your way of thinking, because they are both very, very different. Like they're both two different countries in the same country. Because we're just too different. And it's very, very true. If you're supporting one Nigeria, you are ignorant of your ancestral existence. Because what do you know about it? Like, for example, the Benin Empire. And the thing is it's very annoying because before all this, tribal whatever, like each tribe had their own empires and everything. I mean, Benin was, whoa, the biggest when it came to their trade, their economy, their culture, their artifacts. If you don't know, a lot of old Benin artifacts have been stolen, and a lot of them are in the British museums and museums across Europe. And it's just so sad because right now we're not highlighting our roots, we're not highlighting where we came from. The education system, does that even exist? What is that? Is that water? Because they don't teach kids. And it's so sad because some people, they never even knew about the slave trade. Like you'd ask some Nigerian adults about the slave trade and they have no idea what that was. And it's just so bad. And even like personally, we need to be learning these things in the Nigerian schools. It should be compulsory. We understand that yes, in of history is likely to be said from the side of the winners, but still, there's a certain level of identity. There's a certain level of confidence you get because you know that somebody cannot tell you what is not, and you stand firm when you argue against people trying to tell you what happened or tell you how to live or something. Because if we're one in Nigeria, if we really were one Nigeria, integration would not be a bad thing. People marrying from tribe to another tribe would not be a big deal. It would just be we're Nigerian at the end of the day. It's a different thing if you're marrying from another country, that's fine. But within the same country, you know, intertribal relations or intertribal marriages or intertribal whatever is such a big deal. And it's like, why should it be a big deal when or if we're all Nigerians? That's just what it is. I believe Nnamdi Kanu is absolutely right. If you disagree with him, that's your problem. Like, I don't know. You have to come correct. If you're going to disagree, come correct. Like, intellectually correct. And put what you think in the comment section below. Do not forget to like and subscribe.